What's going on, everybody? Welcome to I was gonna say I was looking away when Andrew started this, so if there is a slight delay, that would be why. But Katz, we got NFL draft next week. Did we want to spend the next 45 minutes talking about your bets, as
45
we
minutes
always
is
do?
yeah, 45 minutes is nowhere near enough. It's so nice, so refreshing that the draft landscape actually swung in a good direction for the good guys this year with the advent of prediction markets. I'm deep in the weeds on Kalshi, and it's great. There's like I don't have to deal with freaking sports book limits and just like stupid games like having to parlay multiple things just to like get some stupid bet down. It's just like, all right, post some stuff and or take post or take and like let's actually have some fun. It's great. It's therapeutic in a lot of ways.
You rub off as a Kalshi guy to me, to be honest.
What? How are we defining that?
Just you leaned in, you lost on the Kalshi. You probably favored it. It's probably the first thing on your browser it's your homepage, maybe even when you open your browser.
So I'm sure we've talked about this offline to some degree, but like I do over 99% of like my sports stuff just on my phone. Like I do
on your
nothing
phone,
on a computer. So there's like no desktop Kalshi type stuff, but like I mean, I called it therapeutic, but like it's probably really bad for my health. Like how many times I open up this app, it's like hundreds of times a day. Probably.
What's the most degen thing that you would not want people to know that you bet on Kalshi?
I just do I'm so I don't I'm for other people I'm sure there's utility for like doing stuff with actual like games or whatever, but I have like no interest in that. If slash when we get like college player props on prediction markets, then like let's go type deal. But it's more like the stuff with like longer time horizons that are information markets, but like I actually have knowledge in. So like draft is like a perfect example. Like that is what most of the stuff I've done. I did a few things with so I got introduced to it through like a buddy that I do some betting stuff with. When he just wanted to pick my brain on like some college football like coach movement type stuff. And then I started to look into it a little more proactively and was like, oh, can we bet like Kenny Dillingham no for Michigan? Can we bet like no for like one of the candidates on for like the Coastal Carolina job? So, but I was still going through him, and it wasn't until draft where I was like, okay, I need to bite the bullet and actually like create my own account and start doing this. But so I did some coach stuff through a buddy, and then I have done a few like, will this guy get traded or what will his next team be type deal stuff as well, just on leans. But like almost everything I'm doing is draft stuff.
I would say that betting on if somebody's gonna be the Coastal Carolina coach is pretty degen. Have you bet on anything political or the war on Iran?
No, dude, that stuff's not for me. Like you know how I am. I try and like I've tried to curate and filter my social media and just generally speaking everything so that like I don't know, I want to just live in my own little world and not like care about anything outside of that. So no thank you to anything about current events.
That's good. That's good. I think if you were starting to bet on stuff like that, I would think you like your evil twin is here, or maybe that you're signaling that you need help if you did stuff like that. So what's the moneymaker for you on the NFL draft? Like what's your biggest edge?
Okay. Yeah, can take one. The way I've been going about it more or less is I'm basically, how do I put this? I guess I'm not gonna put it in like a light that makes me look favorable, but like I'm just looking to book action, like be a bookie, if you will, but selectively. Like it's how great. Like think about how great this is. I can take all the rack action I want on like posting posting markets that I feel like very confident like are gonna like. So like a good example, like will a guy be drafted in the first round? I can post there's like and they have like 60 guys listed. I can post the no side for like 30 guys at like whatever price I want. I don't have to post the guys that I like, oh, that guy might actually get drafted there, or these guys are like locks or whatever. I can post what I want, and I can basically cosplay as a bookie, right? Without
Mm-hmm.
having to be, if I do it like in a way that like I feel like is smart or whatever, without having to deal with like at most adverse selection, or just like posting market stuff that I'm like I don't want to just like give free wins to people and whatnot. So a lot of that. Like I think I have like over 370 open orders right now, and it's mostly just like posting a lot of. I have like some sell orders too, where I'm like I have been like weaving in and out of stuff relative of just trying to like stay ahead of the news and expectations and stuff like that. But a lot of what I'm doing is just like posting the sides that I feel like are good, and hoping that like okay, like it's so interesting trying to parse, and I think I'm pretty good at it, the difference between like a rumor that's like, oh, this guy could go first round, this guy could go top 10. It's like, but can he really? Is that like what's gonna actually happen? And like, so if I like post it at like minus 300, minus 400, it looks I'm sure it looks nice on the other side, right? Plus 300, plus 400, but like I don't know. I had on like the top 10 market has been open for months at this point, I think, at least a month or so, and I have the no side on like 20 guys. So obviously they can't all hit, and like I've been pretty good. The one where I like really had to like be on my toes, and like I think it's gonna work out well for me, was Jordan Tyson. He was one of my first, like one of the first things I did was I grabbed a ton of no on him, and I was like, this guy's not going top 10. Like how can you draft someone who in top 10 who's always hurt, got hurt again? How is his hamstring not healthy after freaking not playing? Like he hurt it in like October. So I initially had a ton of no on him at like 70 cents. Do you know what I mean by 70 cents?
Not really. Kalshi is new to
Okay.
me, whereas I just don't even look. So basically, you're putting together, you're picking what bets you want to put out there for people to bet the other side on, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So everything settles at 0 cents or a dollar. So if I post Jordan Tyson no at 70 cents on a contract, that contract will ultimately be worth $1 when it settles. I'm posting 70 cents of it. The other person, if I get matched, the other person posts 30 cents, and then whoever
Gotcha.
is right at the end. Yeah. So I had a ton of or a lot of Tyson no at 70 cents, and it felt really good. But then like this past week, the vibes were like, shit, is this going to be a Ted McMillan thing where that we go like full circle, and then all of a sudden he is back to going like being a top prospect, and it feels like it's trending that way right now. He has like a workout this morning where he's gonna like do nothing, but like he's back. He after like the idea for most of the draft cycle, or for a lot of it, was like he's falling. Now all of a sudden he's like getting top 10 talk again, and he's getting mocked in top 10, and like the tea leaves are suggesting he's probably going like I wouldn't be surprised if he went anywhere in the back half of the top 10 type deal. So I got out about 7 days ago, and now I'm back in on the other side. I bought some yesterday.
You sound a lot like DraftKings, where you can only bet the overs. That sounds like what you're doing right now.
It's the best, dude. That it's great. I get to be the bookie. I get to make all the stupid rules. But yeah, it's awesome. I absolutely I love like the and I think it's fair to make a distinction between like prediction markets for like stuff on a really short time horizon, like a game, right? It's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like this is like so like if you're I can't really equate something like that to like a futures contract on a on like a financial exchange. But like once we're talking about stuff that isn't a game, like a sporting event, an actual game, something that has a longer time horizon, like the draft, or like where a player will go, or something like that, or even like a future, like a who's going to win the title type deal. I have a hard time understanding like how is this different than people who are speculating on the price of oil a month from now. Like this is the same shit, and we shouldn't like the idea that prediction markets shouldn't exist for sports because it's like, oh, it's gambling or whatever. It's like it is the same thing as like people who speculate on like oil, like via like oil contracts and stuff like that. It's just like it's a different category of like what we're speculating on. But it's been great. Hopefully,
It does make sense. I see what you're doing here. I am as risk adverse as it comes, so I'm like, I just don't even want to feel like dealing with come tax
it
season.
took a leap of faith. Yeah, it took a leap of faith for sure. But like, I don't know. It's nice.
Yeah, and I might be out of the game this fall, so
what are you gonna do with yourself?
I don't know. I have family, I guess, but we'll see.
Interesting.
Any players or anything you're hearing out there in the world of college fantasy that you're like, that's wrong. People are talking about this wrong. Anything you're hearing right now?
We're moving away from the NFL draft into
I mean,
back
if you
into
want
more,
if you want to tell
more,
me who the Lions are going to be drafting, you're more than welcome to go ahead and do so.
everyone says offensive line, so I don't know. I think that's a fair assumption at this point. But going back into college fantasy, man, I have been since I pivoted hard into the draft streets. I've like my college research really has been non-existent. I was for until I started like prepping for NFL draft. I had like some really awesome projects that I was doing for college football. Like I was working to like try and clean play-by-play data and do some cool things with it, and I got decently far. But then I was like, I got bored, as is usually the case. I was doing a couple other things too. Had populated and filled out QB depth charts. I got almost complete with our running back and like a little bit of wide receiver. But like now, like we're doing like every 2 weeks, we're doing a champion series, right? So I'm just trying mostly to just hit doubles with my draft picks and like not fall on any landmines for the most part. Of course, every now and then I'll foam at the mouth and be like, I have to get that guy. That's my dude type deal. But for the most part, it's like, all right, as much as there can be in college fantasy football in April, like just try and draft some floor. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I mean, there are definitely some guys I'm looking at the latest draft I've done where it's like, shit, I already potentially regret that.
Who is it? Who's the guy you're thinking of?
I can't figure out. I've drafted him in 2 of our 3 drafts. Chase Hendricks. How do you think it's going to end up?
I mean, it's not the worst pick. I don't think you can regret it. We just have no idea what they're going to do, right? They have all these skill weapons, but to an extent, like if they're going to are they going to be balanced or are they going to target one guy? Because if they target one guy, then you have a shot for a star. If they target everybody, you're probably going to get 3 weeks of Chase Hendricks. I don't think like he's a dead in the water player though.
Is that we still don't have a ruling on the Jesus, right?
I don't think so. I don't think so, but I think the fact that Chandler Morris got shot down, well, I guess he's his own special breed.
Yeah, he's his own entity in this. That DeJesus is part of the like. I think it's one JUCO ruling that is coming down, and it was supposed to be like end of March, but I think I checked like a week ago. It seems like it's still not. There's no ruling, but like the draft is like in 6 days. Did you see the Oklahoma kid Heineke? Just decided like he just got that ruling like yesterday that he gets another year. He was projected to be a day 3 pick in like 6 days.
That's big for Oklahoma. I think the Joey Aguilar stuff is negative towards DeJesus. Is that what you're most worried about with Chase Hendricks?
I think so.
I see. I just don't. I don't think he's coming back, but it certainly Hendricks is to Jesus. So like, you definitely want de Jesus not eligible. I just don't at this point. I just don't know how he could be eligible.
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like he doesn't have a lot to stand on. But it's like, I don't know if this is the right word, but it's like class action stuff where like it's gonna be one ruling for all these JUCO kids. So if they win, they all win.
Yeah. Which we all thought like was the Diego Pavea stuff, and then it wasn't. It was just like, oh, it's a case by case. And then you're right. I think at this point they just need to nip it in the bud and just make one for all and all for one, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Have you noticed what I've been doing in these Champion Series drafts? It's a complete reverse. I'm just taking the craziest, most outlandish unknowns. I'm saying screw it. Like, this guy is getting a little bit of buzz in a potentially cool offense. Like, let's do it. Like, I'm the only guy that's taken Troy O'Meara. What's that?
That shit's not going to work, dude.
Troy O'Meara? Why aren't people not drafting Troy O'Meara at New Mexico?
I just mean that strategy in general.
I know, but well, why not? I'm taking, JoJo Phillips at BYU has a shot. Like, Gavin Freeman at Baylor has a shot at being like that's what I'm thinking is like, I'm going after these guys that are very volatile, less of any sort of floor. But if I'm taking 11 receivers now, when I have Nick Marsh and Deuce Robinson at the top, like why not try it? That's all.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm looking at your board, like, and I would say that the results aren't as like it's not that off the wall. A couple of these guys, I'm like, I've never heard of this person. Like that Cincinnati receiver, is he some like random FCS transfer? Yeah,
he's a transfer that has had a really good. I've been following it just randomly, just because like they've been doing like a lot of posts about it and a lot of positive stuff on him. But yeah. I mean, in like the Champ Series 2, it was Jalen Cooper again, Zion Booker, Jack Gibson, the Virginia receiver, like Malcolm Simmons. And then I took both San Jose State flavors of the week at receiver. So, yeah, why not? It hasn't worked to do it the other way around. So why not?
Yeah. You got, I need to try and draft him soon. You got Roman Gagliano. That's fun.
Oh yeah, multiple times, I think.
What's the deal with do you know what the deal is with the new offense?
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
Me neither. Yeah. But I feel like he's going to be like Holton Ahlers. He's going to have a similar career track. He'll be around for a while. Just kind of.
I mean, when you had as good of a season as he did in his limited time last year, it's like, I don't know, like, how do you ask him to do something differently? It's Middle Tennessee. It's not like he's doing this at an ACC school and they bring in a new OC that wants to maybe do something more legitimate. Like, you are what you are and your school is what your school is. So like, there is a level of like, we can still be gimmicky or not real or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, fair.
Do you think there's any Auburn running backs? There's two interesting names. Jeremiah Cobb, who, when he was the only guy left, was a valuable CFF guy last year, finally. And then the other guy is Bryson Washington, who was a literal top 6 pick last year. Do you think we're overlooking either of them? Like, do you think they're worth like a 27th round pick?
Does Golish ever not use like 3 running backs where it's like everyone gets a drive and we cycle ABC, drive. And then you've got Brown taking all these carries as well. Like, I don't know. Nothing, at no point, I feel like, will I consider an Auburn running back.
In 2023, Naquan Wright had 180 attempts on 580 total attempts. So, I don't know, like a third of the carries. But he was great with them. Brian Batty had 176 of 442 in 2022. So that's better. Was Golish there in 2022? How long has he been there? He was there with Jerry Bohannon, wasn't he? He's got that's on the edge. It does not help that Davenport is also in Auburn. It makes me feel like he wasn't there in 2022, by the way. It does make me think that there's less of a possibility that there's a bell cow. But Cobb was good enough, and Bryson Washington is who he is. He just was dinged up the entire season. So part of me is like, what if they are the guy? I don't know. These are just mindless thoughts that I have. Is there? What about Alberto Mendoza at Georgia Tech? Why are people not taking him? Why are people not taking him with any sort of respect? Let's say.
So I feel like I could say the same thing for like so many quarterbacks that go in the 20s. I
took him at 29th round. So this is like the last quarterback off the board. I've done that twice. So I hear what you're saying, but like 29th round is pretty disrespectful.
Yeah. You got to figure he has a really high chance of winning the job, right? Like I don't know if you can call it a lock at this point, but it's probably certainly up there. I've never seen him throw. The idea is he can scoot, right? But you could probably do worse. There are so many. Like pretty much every quarterback that went round 29 or later, in our most recent draft, I think is cool and interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm down. I haven't drafted him yet, but I would be intrigued. I thought I was like the wait on QB guy, but like I maybe I can wait even longer. There's so many good ones that are still out there, like going into rounds 30 plus.
Yeah, I will say Fantasy Points, they did their first podcast of the year. They talked about the depth at quarterback and like round, I think it was 7 through 13 is like a really good pocket to start taking him. But I think you could also, I think like the second half of that group is still fine. And even then, like right now, you can get in like the late teens, you can get Angeli, Hawkins, Heinshell, Russell, at least for now. Quinn Hennicle, like this is a 6-point league, so 6-point passing league. So like Malik Washington, Fafita, like there's a ton of guys. Like Fafita would be great in this format. I don't know why I haven't thought about taking him more often, but I should probably recalibrate that ranking for myself. So yeah, tons of options there. And like even at the end, like you kind of mentioned, like Bo Perbula, like Julian Lewis is not awful. Keaton Hauser. I mean, Jaden Craig is 2502 by you this past draft. So like there's Kenny Minchie's interesting enough. Like there's just a lot of names. Do you think the fact that it's 6-point passing touchdown kind of waters down like the value of a quarterback versus the other position?
This is champions.
Yeah. Or just in general, any 6-point passing league that you're in, is that quarterback position?
It's good to know that it's 6-point passing. That's news. Breaking news on the pod.
See, everybody's breaking news this week. Froton, and then now us.
Yeah. It's definitely got to have somewhat of a material impact if you're actually trying to do this in a smart way, right? I think that not considering it like would be foolish. But
well, I think for me it's like, well,
what do you?
I was just going to finish my point real quick. There's just now more guys that make sense to draft. Like in the old format of 4-point passing touchdowns, Noah Fafita and Darian Mensah and Malik Washington held little value, and now their value skyrockets because their passing touchdown, which they could easily throw for 30 plus of them, is just as valuable as the 15 that Haynes King ran for last year, if not more, because it's more likely he's going to be passing touchdowns and throwing or rushing touchdowns. So
I could see it. It's weird how much. Have you noticed this? How much national media consideration Fafita's getting this offseason? I don't understand like why, but like everyone's being like nice to him and talking him up and whatnot, but it seems a bit much.
I want to say he's the current returning career quarterback passing touchdown guy.
Yeah,
he has the most passing touchdowns of active players. I think I saw that the other day.
Word. Is there a quarterback that you feel like you don't understand why he wouldn't be going like 15 rounds earlier?
Basically, like the underrated quarterback.
Yeah.
I am pretty bullish on DJ Lagway, which is just
I
shocking.
took him last draft.
Yeah, I just think 70. What's funny is I haven't taken him in any of these drafts so far, um, but I did in a different P4 draft. When it's Baylor's offense running 75 plus plays per game, you're just
Yeah.
was Sawyer Robertson any good last year? No, he really was not
No,
good. Like he was
I hear
fine,
you.
like so like to me it's like okay, give me a guy with better pedigree, the potential to run. If he was back with the same OC and everything, I'd say okay, like they're just not going to run him. That's just what it is. But there is this kind of like carrot out there of him running potentially that has me interested. At the very least, Sawyer Robertson didn't run, so I don't know. You taking him at 2302 to me is just like a great value. I don't know why you wouldn't want to consider that more and more and more.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite Occam's razory top type things. It's like, okay, this offense is going to be playing in shootouts. They're going to score a bunch of points. They're going to run a bunch of plays. Like, quarterback's going to have to do something. Like, we might as well take him when it's like fairly free. Don't need to overthink it too much.
Is there a quarterback on your end that you are considering similarly?
Yes, I guess there's. I mean, I shouldn't say I guess there is a lack of resolution regarding his job, but like I feel pretty confident that Marcus Stokes is going to beat out Aaron Noland. Like you, it just felt. It feels like no one's ever had anything positive to say about Aaron Noland throughout his collegiate career, and like more to the negative. At his time at I think South Carolina specifically, but maybe Ohio State as well. So, and then we've got Marcus Stokes, who's like played well, granted like 6 levels lower. And they're walking into this Kevin Decker offense in a conference that, I mean, yes, there are some like annoying things about the AAC. You have 3 option teams. I don't know what the Memphis schedule looks like, but I like that. It just I think about how funny it is that like okay, the quarterback in this offense last year was like a top 3 QB, and now he leaves that offense, granted ton of context required, and he's like doesn't get drafted. That has to speak somewhat to like the competency of the system and this offensive coordinator, right? Like and practically speaking, talking about Colton Joseph leaving ODU to go to Wisconsin, the ODU OC right now, right? He's at Memphis. So I'm like very interested in owning the quarterback in that offense. And like I'm Charles Huff talking about it, like the bits that I've read, he's playing up the competition still. But like I have a really tough time concluding that it's not going to be Stokes.
Is Braxton,
so 32nd round.
Braylon Braxton RIP? Is he done?
Yeah, he's got on to bigger and better things.
Got it. I hadn't seen him play in the UFL, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's interesting. I had to Google where Marcus Stokes was. I forgot that Aaron Nolan and he were both at Memphis. They are one of the double bye weeks.
They play 0?
Were you aware
they
of
play
that?
week 0?
They play week 0.
Oh, I was not aware of that. You know, I'm usually on top of that shit too.
Well, you didn't know they were 6-point passing touchdowns, so you're busy with Kalshi.
I live for the schedule and quirks. But yeah, when I was thinking about my quarterback plan going into champions, I was like, okay, mid-teens Marcus Stokes makes a ton of sense. So just seeing that he's still chilling in the 30s, that's nice. That's cool. I'm down.
What do you think about this whole everybody starts on week 0 type thing that's like potentially going to be passed this summer? For those that are unaware, I guess there's a potential change to the ruling or how the schedule works in which everybody would be starting week 0 and the last week of the season would be the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I think they're voting on it or talking about it more in June.
you know how I am with stuff like this, as cynical as can be, and I seeing it straight through to its the the conclusion, right? Where we're doing this because we need to justify the moves associated with college football and the collegiate calendar that have the desired impact on the bottom line, right? So like this is a precursor to expanding the playoff even further. We need to free up more weeks to do so. So we move the calendar back a week, and now we've got an extra week for more playoff games. That's the reason they're doing this shit. And so like it's stupid. I hate it.
At first I was very happy with the idea of the fact that the season could end earlier, but you make a very valid point of like, is this just jockeying for another week in the middle to put another set of games? What do you think about this whole proposed or hypothetical idea that you like the SEC would have their fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth team all play like a 5 versus 8, 6 versus 7 thing, and maybe that week after Thanksgiving? Have you seen that idea? I think the SEC has played around with like a couple random people associated with the SEC have talked about the idea of like, oh, what if it's the whole Vandy argument last year where like Vandy's like, we'll play anybody right now if you guys want to do it to try to bolster the playoff potential. And so somebody had come out and said like, well, what if we just had like 5 versus 8 and 6 versus 7 and they get another opportunity to play? It's like a play-in game, or maybe they do it and get rid of the SEC championship game. I think that's also in consideration as well. Would you hate that?
Getting rid of the SEC championship game. I love conference weekend, even though it's not. I did well betting it this year. Usually, though, like it's not one of my best weekends. But I still like I do just really enjoy it. In the sense that like it. After that, it's bowl season, right? So we get a little buffer of like. At least we get that one last weekend with like some representation of games before we move into like where it's like, all right, max games on a day is probably like 5. So I guess it's kind of the same thing, but still, I don't know. As someone who I enjoyed like the traditional aspects associated with it, I guess.
Shifting gears a little bit here, was there anything better that happened in the Champ Series 3 draft than Josh Chevalier, friend of the show, hyping up Ashton Gray, the East Carolina running back, or sharing a post that hyped up Ashton Gray, the East Carolina running back? Did you see that tweet?
Yes.
And then this was like at 10 p.m. at night. Say that again.
Josh does such a good job selling the shit. Like he makes me want to buy all these freshmen that I've never heard of or whatever, and FOMO and stuff. But at the end of the day, I usually just leave them for him.
So he just retweets something about how Gray could be a stud and just shares it at like 10 p.m. at night. I wake up, I see it at 6 a.m. I'm on the clock at 9 a.m. I take him right before Josh's pick. So I was right in front of him in that pick, and I could not. Honestly, I was never going to take him. So he shared it. And then I could have taken anybody else, but because he did it, I just thought it would be funny. So I just did it.
There you go.
I knew that Josh would appreciate it. And then Josh ended up taking like the different flavor, Roderick Robinson, that's gotten uber hype this offseason. Which one do you think is more likely to be legitimate this year? Roderick Robinson, the running back at UAB, or Ashton Gray, the ECU running back?
Tough. It is a good degenerate argument. I think that from a debate perspective, you can come at it from both sides. Did you see we lost a UAB beat writer to a different career path who was like that guy? I think we have 2. We had 2. Now we're down to like 1, and the second one is like kind of deal. But with UAB, so I would assume I think Mortenson's calling plays, right? He got the job. He's calling plays, and like there's been interesting things out of his offense. I am a little skeptical, like what it's going to look like at quarterback and whatnot there. And I think Roderick is like very much coming off of an injury at UGA or multiple.
He's
The
always
last thing
coming
I
off it.
read. Okay. One day I got deep in the weeds on UAB stuff. Because they're one of the G5s that has pretty decent coverage, or had. And again, I caveat it because again, we just had a beat writer step aside. But there was an article when it was like near the end of the transfer portal where they were talking about all the different running backs they brought in. It's like they brought in like 5 running backs, and like it made it extremely clear, at least at that point in time, that like the plan is like we're going to be as annoying as possible for CFF. Like everyone's going to get carries, team effort, everyone's buying in. Like there's no workhorse here type deal. So, that obviously gives me pause there. We flip to the ECU side. Offense super intriguing with Eric Morris, disciple Jordan Davis, I think, coming over to be OC. But quarterback there is like very sketchy, right? It's like either the LinkedIn guy, Mitch Griffiths, as QB, or Miami's Emory Williams. So that's why Josh is always looking for a Miami connection, right? So maybe that's why he's feeling this here. Emory Williams potentially being QB of ECU. I don't know how confidence inspiring that is in terms of that offense actually being interesting, but still, I don't know. If you made me pick, I would probably go Ashton Gray, just because like I remember just being really sketched out by what I was reading about the UAB running backs and like a committee-based approach.
Okay, give me a quick answer here. Are you following along? Are you following along with the Iowa running back situation?
Dude, I saw this is another Josh tweet, right? Are you just scrolling through his Twitter feed looking for topics?
I saw this first.
All right, that one tweet is like not.
Well, I saw part of this first. I saw the relevant thing that's involved with this first, which is that Kamari Moton is like the lead favorite by far as the top guy.
Good. That's what that I was gonna say the tweet where it lists like 4 running backs, like that is not indicative of anything. That's just like talking to like attributes of these people, not talking to like how it's going to play out in terms of carry distribution.
There's a 247 post that I shared in the C2C Slack, like, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, where the guy is talking about the depth chart and he lists Kamari Moton as like the clear number 1. The other guys have been good, but they're more roll-ish. The reason why I bring this up is because Jay Norvell gave LJ Phillips, this is, I think, what Josh shared, the greatest description of a running back that I've ever heard. Did you see this?
No.
He's like a bowling ball covered in butcher knives. Nobody wants to tackle him.
I did see that. Yeah.
Just incredible.
Sticking on Iowa, can we so our friends where you also work, right? CDC, I believe they what's the right word? Rubber stamped themselves as Mark Gronowski guys before anyone else last year. Do you think BTR?
It was Mox, really.
Can BTR do that with I'm trying to say it, Heklinski this year?
You got to get it. First of all, it's not that hard. Heklinski.
Yeah, it's always not that hard.
But Jeremy Heklinski. Yeah, dude, there's no way he starts. There's not a shot.
He's starting.
No, they did not come out and say that. They said it's a battle, and it's between Hank Brown, the conservative, smart, never makes a mistake guy, and Heklinski, the gunslinger that forces the football. You tell me which Iowa quarterback they're going to go with based on.
You know who is still an assistant on the Iowa staff, right?
I don't know.
Warren Ruggiero, the guy who was Dave Clawson's like OC.
The Wake guy, yeah. The connection there with Heklinski.
I don't have to tell you what offense Heklinski played in high school and then where he went to college before he transferred to Iowa, right?
Yes, obviously. I hope he performs and plays. Like, my nephew loves him, like dearly loves him. Because
did he go to your high school or is it just nearby? I can't remember.
My high school. I saw him play 10 games and 6 to 8 games in high school because he started multiple years. And
I'm definitely drafting him in some leagues this year. Like I don't it's not like it doesn't make sense in champion series, but like I will definitely be drafting him, assuming things like assuming it's not become abundantly clear that he's not the guy. Like I think it could be a lot of fun.
It could be a lot of fun, but I just don't see Iowa doing that. and I think he would agree. I just don't see Iowa doing the gunslinger quarterback. The OC, like the inclusion of Jay Norvell as an assistant, is promising, but there's
You
just
don't
no
think
way
it's
that
just gonna be slow mesh all day?
it's never going to be slow mesh all day. Before we wrap, I wanted to do two final things. So actually, let's do one more player take before I do my final item that I want to do every time we talk. I want to call this the race to Anthony Ivy. What round is he going to go next champ series? Because he got taken, like, I don't know, maybe the late teens in the champ series 2s, in the 20s in series 1, in series 4. How high
took
do you
him
think?
in? Who took him in the 31st round in the first?
Yeah, it
one?
was you. So it was the 31st round on the first one for yourself.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I was like, screw it, I'm getting in on this action. I took him in like the 18th round. Josh took him in the 14th round. Where is he going to go next draft, and how high is he going to end up going by Champ Series 12?
Is he still getting buzz? I haven't seen anything like super recent.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything. The only other,
Yeah.
who's the only other San Jose State player getting picked? I'm searching, but it's so hard.
I've taken Weaver at least once.
I've taken Emma Sony or whatever his name is once as well.
Yeah.
But so how high do you think he's going to go next draft?
Do you think it keeps going up? Like I can't do it right now. I need like affirmation. I was in when as an early adapter, right? At like okay, 30th round or whatever. But like I need affirmation in the way of like a practice report or something that actually makes me think that this what was initially expected is playing out in practice. But I don't know. Like, are you going to jump Josh?
I'm not jumping Josh for that. I've got my taste of the pie. I don't need anything right now. I haven't seen anything else.
Let's rewind 20 minutes to when you're talking about your draft strategy.
There's so many guys I can do that with. I do not need to do it with Ivy in the 10th round. That's my, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me Koger in the 17th, or Yannick in the 18th, or like Pegan in the 19th. Like, those are routes that are Eric Singleton or Micah Mays from Florida in the 20s. Like, that's a better investment next draft, I think, than Ivy in the 10th. All right. The last thing I want to do was include our good friends, artificial intelligence, aka AI, aka Gemini. I asked it, tell me about college fantasy football analyst Andrew P. Katz. So let me read to you a little bit of what it said. Prominent figure in the CFF community, known for his deep analytical approach to roster construction and player evaluation. So far, so good. While the other Andy Katz is a well-known college basketball analyst, Andrew P. Katz, often found on social media, blah, 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 focuses expertise on the gridiron. So key projects and roles. Tell me if you would take this. Like, is this a yes or no for you? Burning the Red Shirt, where he's a host, frequently collaborates with myself and Zach Tao, break down player stats, portal impact, spring practice. Expert analysis, that feels like a stretch. Helping fantasy managers navigate the complexity of 130 plus FBS teams. And wraps it up with community presence, active contributor on X, where he shares real-time insights on player news, depth charts, and deep sleeper picks.
Yeah, I would just add or maybe replace some of that stuff with rumor mongerer, grifter, and betting partner.
See, I don't think you give any deep sleeper picks on X.
Yeah,
you could say maybe here on PTR, but yeah, I think, would you call that rumor mongerer?
Yeah.
You should include that in your bio on X if you haven't already.
Perhaps.
I like that one a lot. All right. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed the April episode. Will we be back in May? I don't know. Let's see. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and we'll catch you soon.